We don't need no stinking title.
We're back!
That was loud. That's okay. I loved it.
One night only.
Yeah, that's right. Pinning the comment, doing the thing. We still got it, kids. We still got it.
We still know how to use computers and technology.
Barely, but warmly. Hi, guys. Hello. So we have some announcements to make. If you're just joining us for the first time and you have no idea who we are, this is Between Two Nerds. We are a little side project, a sidecar, if you will, of nerdsvote.com, which is your source for voter information, education, and registration. And also hanging out with some amazing notable nerds that you know and love from TV and video games and animation and movies and all sorts of things, darling. So my name is Courtenay Taylor.
I'm Jake Karliak.
And this is Between Two Nerds. And we have an amazing guest tonight, but there's a couple things that I just want to mention before we go to that. If you want to check out our pinned comment, it's about the Georgia runoff because, you know, a couple things happened since our last episode.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. So we got through the election and now the work is not done yet, especially if you live in Georgia, because you have one more hurdle, my friends. So if you live in Georgia and you didn't register to vote yet, now's the time.
Or maybe you weren't 18 in time for the election.
Exactly. If you're going to be 18 by by January 5th, 2021, in just 2 short months, if you're going to be 18 by January 5th, go ahead and register. Our link tells you where to go, and you can go ahead and get ready to vote in the runoff in Georgia, the Senate runoff. Woo! Runoffs.
Yeah. Runoffs are just, Georgia's not the only one that has them. Runoffs happen all over the country at various times for various reasons. And they're just as important as a regular election. So we're big fans of voting in every election there is. So make sure to know what the rules of your local and state elections are, because they vary from state to state. And we all pick our representatives in different ways. So make sure you know how you pick yours.
And just as an example for everybody, if you've ever encountered anyone who said, my vote doesn't count, I'm just going to give you an example. Right now in California, where we are, in District 25, there is a race between a gentleman named Mike Garcia and a woman named Christy Smith. And right now, as of my last checking of that tally, the difference is 159 votes. 159. So that's a real slim margin. So don't think that your vote doesn't count. And obviously, I think we've seen that recently, that there have been some pretty slim margins in some of the states. So a couple other announcements. If you use our promo code 2020 at nerdsvote.com, you can get 20% off our t-shirts. We have our regular Nerds Vote logo, which y'all know and love. And then we also have this fabulous logo, which should be a little teeny bit smaller, but you get the idea. It says Nerds Vote. So we have that one made for us by the beautiful and talented Karen Hallian. So that's for you guys, promo code 2020. And if you want to hang out with me after this is all over, you can go to my IG Live. I'll be hopping from this to there, and I will be selling signed copies of this awesome Mass Effect 3 version of Jack with a slightly different head tattoo.
Slightly. Very subtle.
Slightly different head tattoo by Ron Chin. So that'll be at 7:15 tonight. All proceeds go to
Nerds Vote.
Thank you. Yes. You're so good at this.
Question mark?
Possibly. So, hold on. I'm just checking. Okay. Well, if you guys have any questions during the length of this broadcast, Ivy and the Spooky Kids is a voting genius. So if you need any help, questions, things like that, hit her up. You can throw questions in the chat, in the question box below. And our guest, well, you know him from Shameless. You know him from... Hold on, I've got technical crap. You know him from Shameless. You know him from Bones. And you know him from Empire.
Do we have him?
We do. Except we have a little... There we go. We requested him. He is coming.
It's happening.
There he is!
All right.
Pej,
Hi guys. How are you?
what's up?
Nothing. How you guys doing?
Good. I'm so happy to see you. I got a little worried there because my technical difficulties
Oh
are
really?
world famous. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm computer illiterate, so.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Just banging.
Yeah,
You guys have not
That's
met
good.
yet.
we have not.
Maybe
No, hi. Nice
Pej,
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So anything going on with you recently?
Yeah, I just got on a new show. That's hence the beard.
It is a glorious beard.
Yeah, I've never done this before. It's kind of crazy.
I love that you're like,
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't like it actually personally, but.
and you get to ride
yeah.
ponies.
I get to ride ponies and speak another language that I don't speak, so I'm constantly learning it phonetically.
Awesome.
And that's what I was doing while I was waiting for you guys. I was like running these lines phonetically in my head because it's so much. But it's really cool.
Are you able to tell us what it is, or is it deep secret?
Not yet. They're not. The studio hasn't allowed announcements yet, but soon. I think hopefully next week. But it's going to be really cool. Yeah.
We know.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So
Mhm.
obviously, we're in COVID time. So how is that? You do a lot. You do some voice acting, but you are primarily known for your acting on television, and people are like very, very excited about this show in the chat. So how's it been? Like, it's been 8 months. It sounds like you're getting. Obviously, you got to be out on a pony, on a horse today.
Yeah.
So what's the transition been like for you? Were you kind of quiet in the beginning and now things are rolling? Tell us.
So the beginning of COVID was right in the middle of pilot season, or like maybe I guess the end of pilot season. And things were like, normal. And I was finishing up the last season of Empire. And then all of a sudden in the middle of an episode, we shut everything down. And they said, oh, 2 weeks. I'm like, all right, 2 weeks, whatever. We'll just sit here. But then 2 weeks became a month became 2 months because we have a moron who was running the country. And then what I chose to do, I read something that only 2% of people thrive out of a pandemic or a situation like that. So I decided that I was going to be in that 2%. So I started doing things with a buddy of mine where we would keep each other accountable. So I had a schedule, like a military schedule every day. Like this time to this time, I'm doing this time to this time, I'm doing that. I'm going to read every day this much, constantly reading plays, etc., and just working on myself. And then when it came back, I kind of wasn't thrown for a loop and I was ready, So, and then it started coming back about 2 months ago. Auditions started coming back, and I was lucky enough to be doing voice stuff because I built a booth in my house, and that was great. So yeah, now we're testing every other day, and
this is how you do it. I'm like, so there was no point where you were laying on your couch eating frozen croissant.
I'm not going to say I didn't have downtime or down moments. I definitely had anxiety attacks from time to time, like any human. Because it was scary. I mean, what were we going to do? And when you don't trust government or leadership, it's really scary, So I was more worried about my parents than anything else. They're older, and I didn't want them to, God forbid, catch it. So I was really worried about that for a long time, but thankfully my parents took it seriously because I heard some horror stories of friends of mine whose parents were like, we're going to the mall or whatever the hell they were doing. Yeah. Which, not smart. Yeah.
So Well, it sounds like you've been able to flourish. And I just want to point out, because we have a lot of aspiring actors that watch the show, that
Sure.
this is a really great thing. We talk about diversifying within your acting. I mean, we talk a lot about voting as well, but that it really is so important to, you know, not like have different irons in the fire.
Definitely.
So that you are never, I mean, be it a pandemic, be it a downtime, be it that you've, you know, your look has fallen out of commercial favor or whatever, that you are growing and staying loose and staying, you know, so you can jump back in. Because I certainly know that there have been plenty of people, me, who have been not working out and just eating mochi ice cream for a long time.
Hey man, no worries with that.
Right? I feel attacked. I actually, there was a headline, like I have a self-help thing that I get every day. And it was like, you know, the secret to your workouts is consistency. And I was just like, yep, consistently not doing it, but
oh man,
I'm coming back.
Oh, good. I think everyone should be easy on themselves. I'm a bit of a psychopath, so don't like go by what I'm doing, just because if I don't do these things, my anxiety goes through the roof. So it's just purely out of fear of anxiety, I will do this, you know, because I don't want it. And it's like the worst for me. Yeah. So that's why, everyone's different. For me personally, I was like, okay, this is the only way I'm going to get through this without losing my shit, you know? Yeah. So, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend some money, because I was doing voiceovers before, but I thought, well, I don't think we're going anywhere for a while. This could be an opportunity. So I bought all the best stuff I could and built a thing and just said, the hell, well, you know, got to invest in yourself. So let's try it, you know? And it turned out well. And then I think with the workout stuff, a friend of mine was like keeping me accountable and I was keeping him accountable, kind of thing. That helped a lot. Yeah. So like we both bought rowers.
This is not Michael Grant Terry.
No, Michael bought a Peloton.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know, whatever you can. I mean, don't buy these things. I'm just saying, like, I bought $30 bands, for instance, because I wasn't going to the gym ever again in my mind, you know. Yeah. So just to make sure that was happening, and then reading plays every day. I read plays to my dogs. They hate it. I read them. They hate it, and I do all the accents I can.
Yeah, my dogs too. They're very unsupportive. They're very unsupportive. Anytime I'm trying like new higher.
It's so rude. And I tell them, like, where do you think these bones come from? Exactly. No pun intended, you know.
I'm trying to get some more kibble money here, and
yeah, hello, this is for you.
Out of a dead sleep, just pause down.
I just need to focus while I'm running lines with you. That's it. That's all I ask.
I'm like, stay there and look poetic, so I can.
Yeah, I need something here.
Project to you. Totally. Not all feedback can be.
Yeah.
You know.
He's going crazy right now, so I'm looking.
What kind of dog is it? Can we see?
I have one. You want to see him? Yeah. I have one. Charlie, look. Charlie.
Hello. I've met him.
Yeah, that's Charlie. You know Charlie.
Hi. And the big derp.
And then, come here, Zinni.
See? Everyone needs a little dog and a big derpy dog.
Yeah, and that one's scared of this one.
Yeah. Very, very cute. See? Diversification, guys.
Yeah,
you need one derpy dog and one small dog that
totally
the roost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So guys, if you have questions for Pej about anything, almost anything, feel free. Here's a good one now. Amanda Batista _15 wants to know, are you still in contact with your co-stars from Bones?
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, Michael and Eugene and Nacho Ignacio are, you know, really good friends of mine. Especially, you know, well, Nacho's in Vancouver, but Eugene is in my bubble, my COVID bubble with Michael.
Nice.
So I see them a lot. Emily, the day of President Biden winning, when President Biden and Vice President Harris won, that day we FaceTime with Emily, and we were just all screaming and yelling. And I was walking my neighborhood with my dogs, and Brian, my God, I'm blanking on his last name. He was one of the interns. Oh my God, he's gonna kill me.
Brian from Bones.
Brian from Bones. Oh my God. Anyway, Brian lives down the street. And Brian and his wife and all my neighbors were partying in the street, like
great.
drinking champagne, eating donuts, screaming and yelling. We were so excited. So I see him because he lives down the street.
Yeah.
And that's it, I think. Oh, Michaela, I love her. Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
we're
great.
pretty
I
close.
love that you guys have such a tight bond. I mean, that's how I met you, was through Mike, and
Yeah.
it was so great to see
He's like my
everybody
brother. Yeah.
at parties and stuff,
Yeah.
and see you guys just abusing each other on social media.
We love each other. Yeah.
You guys
yeah.
really are like brothers, like
Definitely.
in the worst way.
Yes. That cast was something special. I'll tell you, like from the first day I was there, Emily made me feel so at home. And it was my first real big gig. Like I was nervous as hell. And she calmed me down. Michaela calmed me down. And John Francis Daly was awesome. Everybody was. I mean, I had one scene with David the first day, and he was great. I mean, it was just a good play. It all started with Hart, the man who created it. Hart is just the nicest guy on the planet. So that's how it goes. You know, when you're on a show, the top to the bottom is so key, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it must have been intense because I obviously, Mike was my neighbor, and I remember helping, like he would be running lines and the stuff that you guys had to memorize. I mean, that must be, we've had him on the show as well, but that must have been, that's like my nightmare. I mean, that's why one of the reasons I love voice acting, right? Is because we don't
just read it off the page.
Just right there. And anytime that I start to have to like look, like it's almost a technique, because once I start acting and moving my head, everyone's like, you're gonna need to be right on the mic. Nope. Still moving. I'm like, I'm caught somewhere between on camera and voice acting, and that I am pleasing no one. And it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, you're crushing it, so it doesn't matter.
We asked you to be on the show. Obviously, you're very political. If you check out your social media, you're very outspoken. We'll get to basketball later, but you obviously are very into voting stuff. Now, I know you you were born in the Bay Area. Woot.
No.
Nope.
Born in Iran.
Oh,
and then moved when I was 3 months old.
This is what basically. I thought. Okay, so you were born in Iran. You came over here, and then you came to the Bay Area, and then you went to San Diego State?
Yeah, so we went from Iran to Germany. For Germany, we were there for 3 months. I was 6 months when we moved to San Jose, California.
Did you learn German?
No. My mom and my brother, my sister, my dad all speak it. Yeah.
Well, what have you been doing with your time?
Yeah, just
really 3 to 6 months old. You had nothing else to do.
Nothing better to do.
You were just laying there.
Yeah. Because they had been going back and forth, and we had family. My uncle married a German woman, so they were, always there before I was born. So, and my sister took it, I think, in college as well. So they were it was just in them.
So they can all talk about you.
I mean, go ahead. I'm too secure to care.
You're like, I'm on TV, whatever.
Whatever.
So this is, I was going to lead into this, but so this is even more important. Like, how does your life experience sort of weave into, was voting a big thing in your house when you got here? Were your parents sort of apolitical? Did the leaving and going to another country, did that formulate how you guys dealt with politics and voting in your house? Or was it kind of didn't talk about it, just...
No, I don't remember, no, politics weren't an issue. When we came, I was too young to know this, but the Iran-Contra stuff was happening. But my recollection is, my dad is like the sweetest man alive. He's not political at all. I just want to say, I remember him voting for the first Bush, I think, but I was like 11. I don't remember exactly, but that's how non-existent, the politics was in my house. And honestly, it didn't become important until this maniac in our house. I'm not saying they didn't vote. My dad voted and my mom votes every election. They just don't talk about it. I mean, we all voted for President Obama, President Clinton, like everybody was, my parents for sure. But now, It's like my mom is CNN all day, every day, you know, and I can't blame her, and I'm the same. The moment this guy was running, we're like, what is this craziness? I mean, I'm a huge Howard Stern fan, right? This lunatic was on Howard Stern, and we're like, aha, he's stupid and funny. Who cares? But then he's running for the leader of the free world. That can't happen, right? And then he's saying all this crazy shit and all this racist crap. No way. And I'll tell you, the day he won, I was so depressed. I can't even tell you. It was just so awful. I was crying. And then I realized some of my friends had voted for him. Friends I grew up with, friends who had come to my home, who my parents took care of. And I was so baffled by that and so hurt by it and betrayed by it. And every single one of them said, no, he's just saying that crap. He's not going to do any of this, you know? And they just, without a doubt, all of them said, I can't vote for her. I can't vote for her. She's awful. I'm like, why is she awful? They didn't even know what Benghazi is, okay? Let's just start there, right? Nobody knows what Benghazi is. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. Just like they don't know what socialism means, because then they wouldn't accept Social Security. Am I wrong about that? I mean, what are we talking about? You idiots. It's frustrating to talk with stupid people. You know, that's the problem. It's frustrating. But anyway, to go back to your point, politics was not a big deal. It wasn't important. Now it's top. Not my dad so much. My dad, of course, voted. He always votes, like I said, and hates Trump like that. But it stresses him out, so he just like veers away from it. But yeah, I mean, my family was blocked from coming here from Iran for no reason, you know. But you know, it was, I think, yeah. I mean, that was a scary time. I mean, it's scary now, but that was terrifying.
Yeah, it's you know, it's interesting. Just, you know, we have to take it very seriously who we elect, because in many countries, you know, we've seen time and time again, all it takes is electing one person to change the trajectory of how the country is run. And you can see it in the, you know, in the Middle East, in the changes in places that, you know, once had female professors and people wore miniskirts and, you know, things like that. And now it's very much more conservative from the government down. And that in, you know, in many other places that we sort of assume like, oh, that's Africa, or, oh, that's the Middle East, that would never happen here. That this sort of authoritarian style politics could be on the table even. And I think people, you know, some people voted for Trump as a joke. Some people didn't vote for Hillary because they said, you know, her voice was strident. These things are, this is a huge responsibility that we have, no matter, you know, what party you ascribe to. We are steering our country, which, you know, is, as you said, you know, one of the leaders of the free world, and we need to take our responsibility really seriously.
Absolutely. My issue isn't like, you know, I was talking to somebody and they're like, why are you so, you know, oh, just because someone's a Republican doesn't mean they're this, that, and the other. I'm like, oh, whoa, we're not. I'm an independent, okay? I'm telling you right now, it has nothing to do with, if someone said I'm a Republican, then I'd ask them, did you vote for Trump? And if they say no, then I go, so you're a real Republican. Because Trumpism is so far off what Republican values actually stand for. Not that I'm a Republican, I just, you know, the deficit, for instance, is through the roof right now. That is anti-Republican, right? You know, this is the believing in our institutions. That's so Republican. All of a sudden, our votes don't matter. It's a sham system. How is this okay? So to me, when someone is a Trump supporter, they're not a Republican. They've lost that. They're a Trumper. They're, you know, cult. They're essentially in a cult. And it's hard for me when I see 71 million people have voted for this guy. That's crazy. Oh, what is it? So I just think that it's a scary time. I mean, I'm worried, to be honest, what he's going to do in the next 71 days, or what Barr is going to do, and what Pompeo, my goodness, does he drive that guy? I just hope that there's some justice, honestly, because that would really be. And you know what happened when he won that night? I saw a bunch of liberals say, "Okay, now it's time to heal, and we should forgive and forget." Blah blah blah. I'm like, what? So he's just gonna get away with this? Are you crazy? This is why you lose constantly, and this is what AOC was saying. You know, we cannot be the nice guy all the time when someone's not playing by the rules. So I think there's going to have to be some toughness in the next 72 days, or 71 days. And I think people are going to have to put aside that, I love her. And Michelle Obama always said, go high when they go low. I'm sorry. Right now, that's out the window. It's our country's at stake because I don't trust them at all. And I don't put anything past them. And we have to really hold their feet to the fire. Otherwise, God knows what they can do.
Well,
part of going high is defending the principles that this country at least is supposed to function on.
Yeah.
And also, it's one thing to disagree with each other about
policy,
economic policy,
yeah,
or education reform.
Absolutely.
It's quite another thing to disagree about racism and social justice and
totally,
children in cages. So, I think it's okay to make the distinction that there are things that we are not going to let stand. We are not going to just be like, all good. No,
absolutely. And as a country, Republican, Democrat, Independent, we all have to be on one page in this matter. And the fact that these guys are going to, basically to bat and to ruin their legacy over a reality show host is mind-boggling, And I constantly am thinking, like, what is it? What could it be? Now, if you're rich, I get it. You're just greedy. Fine. I mean, at least that's that. There's something. It's not a redeemable quality, but it's at least something I can point to. The only other thing I can think of is racism. You're either okay with it or are it, right? And that seems to me, sadly, because the moment he won, I've gotten more, go back to where you came from. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times, and it's all of a sudden okay to say that stuff. He made it okay for you to say things like that. And that's not the country my parents came to, So I think another reason, part of me also thinks like the cool kids are annoyed. And I think the right looks at us as like the cool kids. And we're under their skin and we're going to keep going because this guy's really bothering them. We're going to keep digging them, do everything we can because this is fun. Because they're not benefiting, economically. I mean, let's be honest. The economy, you don't go by what's going on Wall Street. That's not affecting a farmer in Ohio. The sanctions with the soybeans, and all these issues are what's affecting their day-to-day life. But somehow they're looking past it because they feel like they feel seen for the first time. And that's an issue President Biden needs to make sure he sticks to. Because, I don't blame him if you feel unseen and forgotten. Well, then what are you going to do? You're going to try to do everything you can so someone sees you. And that's what they're doing. They have this big clown as their poster child, and they feel seen. And sadly, he's just taking advantage of them. What he's doing right now, I don't know if you saw, but with the issue with the fake, this voting issue that he's putting together, and he's sending emails out to get money. Well, he's paying off campaign debt, and he's taking innocent people's money to do so on these channels.
Yep.
I think. Uh-oh. Say that again. Sorry, we lost you.
That iPhone. Oh, sorry. I was getting that notice that someone just got kidnapped. You know what I mean? On the iPhone. Yeah.
Amber Alert.
Amber Alert. That's it. Anyway, so.
I think it's important to make that that designation about rigorousness, no matter what your party is, is that we cannot be rigorous enough with our representatives and with this, this right that we have to vote and this small portion of the steering committee that we get with each vote, that it is important to be just what you said about the Democrats being sort of toothless and the Republicans sort of letting things happen. It's two sides of the same coin, and that, you know, no matter what your party is, if someone is doing something bad, if someone is, you know, doing something illegal, we each have to hold our representatives of our party and the other parties accountable. It's really important because it turns into more of an economic issue where the haves and the people who are making the money and who run the country, obviously, and are at a certain sort of tax bracket, are allowed impunity. Yeah. And that has to stop. I mean, when the ballot box situation, I'll use this as an example, and it is a partisan example, but I will just say that if someone had thrown a cherry bomb into a ballot box and burned the ballot box and gotten caught, they would be prosecuted. They would go to jail. It would be, you know, ballot tampering and election tampering. But the GOP in California, and this is just news, but put out unofficial voting boxes. Right. And the Attorney General here has said that he would not necessarily charge them. And that disparity, no matter what your party is if the common man is going to be charged with a crime if it happens, so should anybody else at a higher economic or political position. And so that comes from us holding our representatives accountable. And we talk about this all the time, that your steering this country does not stop with casting your vote every 4 years. It means that you reach out to your reps for, you know, I called Becerra, you know, to speak my mind on that issue. We need to hold people accountable, not just with our votes, but with our constant checking in and telling them what we like and what we don't like. You know, our civic duty goes far beyond just casting a vote, 100%, every couple of years. So it's very important to underscore that. I think that we take this very seriously, but also have what we try to do at Nerds Vote is also try to make it fun and cool. And, you know, and I was really happy to see that too this year, where there was, you know, pizza to the polls and people dancing and, you know, entertainment and stuff. I think there were some really amazing things that came out of this.
I mean, that's one thing we can thank, you know, Trump for, because, you know, my 13-year-old niece is so active. It's amazing. I mean, not posting selfies and like, you know, BS stuff. I mean, like facts and articles and just look at this and that. And I'm like, I am so proud of her. I mean, my goodness. And I told her when President Biden won, I said, don't think what you did wasn't important. What you did changed this world, this country. You know, you were a big part of that. And it's very good at your age to be doing such a thing. And I think that's something he did. You know, people, if it was just another Republican, Romney or something, who knows what we would do, right? We'd be like, all right, no one's paying attention anyway, right? But this guy is such a maniac and such a criminal that we can't take it. And 13-year-old girls can't take it. And, you know, teenagers are all over TikTok saving this country. It's amazing. And that's a beautiful thing. And we can look at it like that. I think,
and very much underscore to the people who are not old enough to vote. Yes, you can still spread information, you know, share information. You can still call your reps and let them know that you are a pre-voter, and that as soon as you are able to, you will be casting a vote. And so you're coming up, and they better listen to you as well.
You better listen, because in 4 years, guess who can vote? She can.
Exactly.
You know? So I think that's one positive. Maybe that's a lasting positive. You know, we took a big step back with this guy. There's a lot to do in the next 4 years. I mean, Biden, that's probably the hardest presidency, I don't know, since what?
The Depression, probably.
I mean, probably, right? So, and it's only going to be 4 years. Hopefully, Kamala will take over and thrive from there. But I just don't see how we can go back to a Republican ever again. You know, I'm being serious.
Like, I'm just watching the hearts go.
I mean, just think about it. And I'm not even saying as a partisan. I'm just saying factually, let's look at our country every time they take over. Every single time. And don't give me Reagan, because Reagan was whatever. You know, he was like I mean, let's be honest. Come on, guys. He was fine. He didn't kill us. Okay.
Well,
But,
unless you were a gay
well,
man.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
But like both Bushes, our economy crashed, you know, and it took President Obama to save us last time. And it took President Clinton, who put us in a surplus the other time. So every time a Democrat takes over, somehow our economy is killing it. But the message is Republicans are all about the economy. How is that possible? Now, how do we educate the younger people to change, like factually, look at the GDP, look at the economy, look at everything that happens while we're under a Democratic ruling. It only benefits us. But then as soon as they take over, we're in a war, we're over here, we're over there, we're like, everything's crashing. We have to change the way we speak to voters because Democrats they can't punch that message home. And I don't know how to do it. I'm not a politician, but I think AOC, honestly, I know people think she's like a way too lefty, whatever, but she has some great points and it's all fact-based. And every time she says it, it pisses the right off because it's all true. And they're scared if this stuff keeps happening, if an AOC comes around and it grows and grows and grows, uh-oh, what are we going to do then? You know? Now, do I agree with everything she says? Not always, you know, but I don't agree with anybody always, you know?
Exactly.
So,
And that's what makes it so important to, I love the fact that you're an independent and that you are looking at people, you know, obviously you're favoring one party right now, but that it's important to, I mean, I vote outside of my party. I vote for the person who I think is the best for the job. And it's
totally.
so important to do that research and take some time to figure out and not just kind of go like, oh, this is my party's down ballot, I just vote this. I get annoyed with, you know, vote blue no matter who. I'm like, no, you know what? I want to vote for whoever, or vote red or you're dead or whatever the
well, I will say this. I will say ordinarily I 100% agree with you. But right now in this climate, I don't trust them. They could be this moderate Republican who is, you know, anti-Trump and all that nonsense. But once they're in there, something happens where they're afraid to go against this guy because they're afraid of losing their job, and they stop going with the stuff that they said they were going to do. Like Jeff Flake acts like he's a hero. He was leaving, okay? But while he was knee deep in it, he wasn't saying a thing. You know what I mean? So right now, they've lost my trust. Anyone who says I'm a Republican, they've lost my trust. And it's his fault, partially. So yeah, I do look at the down ballot situation as different as before. You know, there's a guy in Michigan, that congressman that switched from the Republicans to independent. You know what I'm talking about? Justin Amash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't agree with everything this guy says, but I actually respect him because he left his party because he couldn't take it. And his ideals are a little different than mine, but a lot of the stuff he says makes sense. And I would vote for that guy because he seems like genuine. I'm here to work as a public servant, not to, you know, make more money, you know.
And it's important at a local level, you're going to see more of that. I think more of that kind of attitude. When I say down ballot, I'm, you know, also talking about.
Yeah, I did. I'll be
locals.
honest with you. Down ballot, I didn't even pay attention. Blue, 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 blue. Sorry, you lost my trust. Yeah. I don't trust a thing you say. None of it. Before, I would go, oh, okay. What's this guy all about? What's that gal all about? Okay, I don't look at your party. Now I'm thinking, I mean, you're the Trumpers. I don't even look at it. When I see red, I'm a huge Bulls fan. They've ruined my color. Like, I can't even, you know, enjoy a Bulls game.
I have to ask you, and I'm you're getting pimped by IMD Boreanaz.
David, that's David Boreanaz. What's up? No, the Phillies. Well, I'm a Giants fan. You know that.
I know, but why no love for the Warriors?
Because I'm not a bandwagoner.
But you're a Bay Area boy.
I know. But I grew up, you know, when I came here, Michael Jordan was everything. And I loved them so much. And then when he retired, or actually even when he left and played for the Wizards, I was rooting for the Bulls to beat him. That's when I realized, oh, I'm a Bulls fan. So, and it's to this day, and they're terrible. If I just jump ship, go to the Warriors, that's a character flaw.
You could have started out in our ship. I'm just saying.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I like them, but I can't. Yeah, go Giants. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm a huge
How do you
Giants
feel about
fan.
the Phillies, by the way? Just since
I
David's
don't
here.
not like the Phillies. I hate the Dodgers. You know, I'm anti. I like the Phillies because all my boys are from Philly. I mean, let me tell you something. Listen to this list: Mr. Boreanaz, Philadelphia; Dave, Michael, Eugene; Michaela. Two of my friends from New York are from Philly. I mean, it's constant
They're
Philly.
all
And
on
my new producer show, Philly. Never gonna let us forget that they saved this country because it was all day. We had me and Eugene had Philly cheesesteaks to celebrate. He was wearing a Philadelphia Eagles hat and a Sixers hat all day long. It was constant. And then my buddy sent me a shirt he made with like Trump getting stepped on by Allen Iverson, like all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, we're not gonna live this down, are we? It's crazy.
I have not talked to Mike since then, but I'm sure it will be
He's so
a
happy.
joint extravaganza.
I have a picture of him holding Libby, his daughter, watching Vice President Harris speak, and it's beautiful. Because she's one. He was so worried. What is he going to tell her if this guy wins again? How is he going to raise his daughter in this country when you don't feel safe? You don't feel like women's rights are, taking heed. That's scary for a father. So the night before the election, he was really worried. And I had to have a chat with Charlie. Charlie's a Trumper the next day. My dog. I'm just joking.
Oh, I was like, wait, are you talking about Mike's family?
No. I'm kidding. I was just joking. I don't have kids.
It's confusing when people have kids that are the same name.
Yeah, why did you name your kid after my dog? I don't know.
It's so weird.
How dare you?
Oh,
no, but it was a beautiful day.
Now, see, we've got a heavy Philly presence now.
Oh my God. Honestly, David, these were incredible. I think it's called Booze cheesesteaks. I don't know. Eugene got it. It was amazing. I mean, as good as something I've had in Philly. Almost.
Oh, they're on Virgil.
So good.
I love that place.
Oh my goodness. I was just like, this. Apparently they like fly in the bread from Philadelphia or something.
JP is from Scranton.
All right.
So he's
like
another
the president.
Mm-hmm. I'm also surrounded by people from Philly who are
people are David. Yes,
from PA.
That's right. Philly people are truly one of the most genuine, real, loving people I've ever met. I'm being dead serious. Like their heart. I mean, I can't tell you how close I am to them. I feel very close to people from Philly.
It's a good city.
It's a beautiful city. I was lucky enough to do a play in Philadelphia, and I lived there for about 5 months, and I just fell in love with the city. Oh my God. Gorgeous city, great food. Holy cow!
How's
go to
Scranton
Burning.
though? Because apparently
No,
David
not
says
Scranton.
he loves Scranton. So did you go to Scranton?
I didn't go to Scranton. No, I didn't. No. I was in Rittenhouse Square. A little too bougie for me to
Well,
be.
you're missing out on some amazing pierogies. I will say that.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
Pierogies and porchetta sandwiches. That's our jam. That's
all right. No, hoagies and Wawas.
You got the accent down, Pej.
Oh, yeah. And then they go water ice. They got some water ice. Yeah, that's a hell of an accent you guys got.
Yeah, it's really water ice.
Water ice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have been hanging out with Mike. Wow, a lot of deep Philly. That's great.
Deep Philly.
Well, maybe Mike needs to make us some frickin'
hoagies.
Steaks. Maybe I need to get in your bubble. I've been left out of the bubble. Last time I was in the bubble was before all of this, and I got to hold Livy and watch the Niners and explain to her.
I love her.
I know. And we just sat there and watched the Niners play, and I explained who everyone was, and I haven't had a chance to explain to her what's going on this season. We'll move on. We'll move on. This is a voting show. It's not a sports show. So
yeah, don't get me going.
Do you have a favorite like voting memory other than this last one? Is there like
Yeah, the first time President Obama won. And I'm just going to stop and read what David said, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. I pray for unity and being able to come together with love and understanding. I believe that is the core of what we need to do. We just have to get past this lunacy before we can do it. Because this is a very dangerous thing he's doing to our democracy, to the sanctity of our democracy, to voting, to believing in the vote. I mean, how many people is he making believe that voting is rigged? That's terrifying. And not,
and we are the United States of America, and we are going to solve problems not by being far apart, but by coming together and figuring out how to solve
again. Let's go back to arguing policy.
50% of the country is not going to do it. So
let's go argue policy again, not this craziness. You know, that's how things happen. Arguing about two sides of a story about, like, you know, economically, socially, let's talk it out. That's what it was. And now it's gotten to this craziness, and that's not our country. And Republican, Democrat, and Independent, whatever, that's out the window if we allow this. Yeah. And we have to get our country back, you know. Then we can be, like the best thing Biden says is, I'm the president for every state. The United States of America, red, blue, or whatever. And that's it. That's like what President Obama said. That's what President Bush said. I mean, you know, let's not forget, he did it too. His father did it too. This is different. This is crazy. But as go back to your question, my first time voting ever in my life, when I was old enough to vote, was for President Obama, and his first time. And that was a day when he won. I mean, oh my God. You know, for a boy from Iran, brown kid, Muslim, this guy's name is Barack Obama. You know, it was like, whoa, crazy, amazing. And he's perfect. Like, the guy's amazing. And he held his end of the deal, you know, with class. And you might not agree with his policy. That's fine. But you can't deny the humanity this guy gave to the office, the dignity he gave to the office, the intelligence he gave to the office. And that's what it's about to be a president. That's what's so beautiful about this country. Regardless of Republican or Democrat, the president always was someone with some sort of, you know, gravitas, someone that you looked up to, you were okay for your children to look at and say, oh, I want, you know, that's the leader of our country, you know, and that's gone. I think it's back, I hope. But yeah, so that was my first time voting, and that was a very important day for me. It was beautiful. I was so happy to vote that day. I was so excited to vote, and of course, ever since.
Yeah, it's I can't, you know, we underscore so much, and it's great to hear from people who, you know, my parents came from other countries, and the day my mom actually got her citizenship on 9/11, and she really, the reason she became a citizen was to vote. That was it. Mm-hmm. And it's really great to hear, to understand kind of like what it's like in other countries. I mean, we need to also look at those kinds of things and not take this for granted, that we have this right that is given to everyone. And if anyone is trying to stop you from having that right, you need to, you know, really fight back and push back against the people who are trying to make that not possible. And to, you know, look to other countries and, you know, educate yourself, be curious about what goes on in other countries, because I think we'll appreciate very much more that we have the ability to do that. And we have a lot of Aussies that watch the show, and, you know, they always remind us that it's compulsory there. You get fined. We don't have that.
Love that.
We have, you know, the choice to do it and not get fined. So, I
mean, that's that we are a free country. I mean, I don't want to force people to vote. That'd be crazy. But, you know, I do think it should be a national holiday. I think people shouldn't work that day. Should be.
It can be a choice, but it can still be as easy as possible.
Yeah, let's make it easy. Why don't you want everyone voting who's eligible to vote? Tell me why. Doesn't that make you skeptical as a person who's on that side? Why don't they want everyone voting? Because they know they're going to lose.
the upshot of this time, as someone who is super passionate about making sure that everybody gets the opportunity to vote, was that because we had options for people to drop off, to mail their votes, no matter what you think of the outcome, the fact is that we had a better voter turnout than we've had in 120 years. And so that speaks to the idea of, we need to give people as many opportunities, because they will come out and vote. A Tuesday, when your polls are sometimes open from 10
it's
to
so
6,
weird. What is that?
it's not possible for a lot of people.
That's strange.
But I felt when the numbers started rolling in, as somebody who, we started Nerds Vote particularly to get outreach to, a community that we thought was being sort of underserved as far as voter registration and education goes, to see those numbers. I mean, it was like, it's working. Yeah.
And, that's another thing we can do, is say, maybe he caused that. Maybe Perhaps. He caused that. And maybe that's the long thing. I'm just trying to look at positives, because everything is so bad with this guy.
Or
the
perhaps,
good thing,
it's the grain of sand in the oyster that causes the pearl. It's that bit of the
that's nice.
That causes us to make something better. So
I like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, deep thoughts on Between Two Nerds.
All right. That's nice.
But it's true. It's true. Whatever the case was, this country woke up for whatever reason it was, be it, that voting was more accessible, or that you were more inspired to vote, or whatever. And I think we can't underscore or celebrate that enough than to say, my gosh, like record-breaking numbers of people. So, taking that into the next 4 years as well, to share that information with your friends, be accountable, like you spoke about in the beginning of this, being accountable with your friends when it comes to voter, because you know what? Those local ones are boring sometimes. And they're just as important, if not more important. So when local, voting time comes around, call your friends, do a voter ballot party, and go through the issues, because these are the things that are going to affect you in your day-to-day life. And they are the easiest ones to overlook, are those elections. So stay accountable with your friends. Keep this momentum going, because it's so important.
Totally. And we got to put all our energy into Georgia. I mean, every ounce of it.
Yeah, the work
because, that would be humongous. I mean, my goodness. And they're great candidates. It's not like you're just, come on, couldn't find someone better. You really look into them. Ossoff is remarkable. Ossoff is remarkable. I am obsessed with this guy. And Warnock too. I mean, I think the Democrats really did a good job there this time. And I thank God for Stacey Abrams, because she is what is he? Sorry, he's distracted me. Yes, God bless our Marines. He's right. Happy birthday. Let me know. I'll be on SEAL team. It's the Marines' birthday. Sorry, one of my best friends is a Marine, and it's their 245th birthday. God bless our troops. That's one thing right, left, whatever. That's the one thing we all agree on, right? God bless our troops, because the sacrifice these people make for us to live this life, be able to vote, talk like this without some fascist dictator shooting us. You know what I mean? It's huge. And, it's because of them. So that is absolutely accurate. I forgot.
Happy birthday to the Marines.
That's right. Semper Fi.
David.
Anyway, so back to Georgia. I think we should put all our energy into that. We all should educate ourselves as if we lived in Georgia, and read up on these two, see what they're saying. If you go back and YouTube Ossoff's debate, I don't know if you guys saw that, but he eviscerated this guy so badly that he wouldn't do the second debate, and he is a corrupt dude. I mean, really, I cannot believe it's a runoff. And that scares me for the state, because he is a really, and racist as all hell. I mean, forget corruption. The guy is a racist bigot, and somehow he got that many votes. It's Georgia, I get it, but I think he's in for a rude awakening. I really do.
Well, it's definitely going to come down to, I think it's it's interesting to see what, Stacey Abrams has done a lot with voter registration. She's really dug in, recognized a problem, of obviously underserved communities as far as that goes. And her work is inspirational for sure.
Yeah.
I do want to take a question from the chat. Chance Bostic
Mm-hmm.
says,
Yeah,
how do we tackle
Chance.
the media's bias for sensationalism? How do we hold people like Hannity or Tucker responsible?
That's a great question.
And we only have 5 minutes, possibly 3. So let's make this the last question, because
I don't know. I mean, my answer would be not very American. I would rip them off the air. I mean, seriously, because when you're spewing out hate and lies like that, it's dangerous. So I don't know if you can implement some sort of fact check or some sort of like fine every time you do something crazy like that. And the things these guys spew out, Tucker Carlson, and they're lying on purpose, and that's not freedom of speech, in my opinion. That's dangerous, and you're riling up the troops in a way that's detrimental to this country. Now, I don't know how to stop it other than something like, finding them. I don't know. I have no idea.
I think.
What do you guys think?
Go ahead, JP.
I was going to say, I think, it's the power of the purse, and it's voting with your viewership, and we need to not only not watch it ourselves, but tell others that, like, when we hear from our parents, like, well, I was watching Fox. Don't watch that. Watch something else. Watch something that's trusted, or at the very least, balance your viewing. And also, you as a person can write to, just like you would write to your representatives, write to Fox or write to Breitbart or write to MSNBC if you have an issue with them, and say, hey, this content is inappropriate, and I'm not going to be viewing or frequenting any of your sponsors as long as this person or these opinions are spread on this station. And I mean, that it's unfortunately a very slow and incremental process, but that's how we do it. And I do think, in the instance of Tucker, we're seeing that. We're seeing sponsors pull out. We're seeing people back away, and hopefully that will continue.
Yeah, hit it when it hurts. Their pockets.
Indeed, and it's just yet another thing. I mean, it's your duty to your country doesn't stop with your vote. It's about being vigilant. It's about holding everybody accountable. And if you see it time and time again with people, with sponsors, with products, if people don't like it and they raise a ruckus, then something happens. And it is the power of the purse, but also we have this ability to, both with our representatives, in a voting sense, but also in a consumer sense, that we have social media, we have easy access to people, to companies, contact info, and public relations, and so you can make your vote, not necessarily in a political way, but also in a consumer way. And it's really important to keep making your voice heard and understanding that that these efforts are going to take time. They are, drops of water that are going to make a wave. And, you can't go back to sleep. You can't set it and forget it for anything anymore, and it's easier to be involved now than ever with what we have at our fingertips. So
totally.
We are going to, we could do this forever, but it's 7 o'clock and I know that we're going to get cut off in like 2 seconds.
No worries.
So I just, this has been amazing. What a fiery, wonderful talk, especially because we will be going dark for the rest of the year. So this is our last episode.
Oh, very cool.
2021.
Thanks for having me.
So you are taking us out with fire.
Thank you.
So if you guys, of course, we will still be on social media. So please do follow us on Nerds Vote. If you would like to send us off with a inspirational goodbye about voting and staying involved, feel free, or you can just do it as any of your favorite characters or just as you.
No, I wouldn't do that. But I would just say, keep going. I mean, I had hope in my heart that day. And I was so proud to be American again. And seeing the American flag finally again after 4 years of, I was a little embarrassed by it. Traveling this world, you see people that look at us differently. And, now I can say I'm American again and feel good about it. And because people voted. So we have to keep doing that. Make sure you go in Georgia, you know, help if you can, donate if you can, you know, tweet, Instagram, educate people so people know what's going on over there, because it's so important that we get these two to win. And then we can get this going again, this country back. So vote, vote, vote. And thank you guys for what you do. It's so important. And thank you for having me. It was an honor to be here.
Oh, thank you, Pej. I
Awesome.
will see
Thanks
you
for coming,
soon
Pej.
for Philly cheesesteak.
Yes.
And we'll see you on SEAL Team. Somebody's got to talk to David for
Yeah,
real.
I guess David said he's going to do that. But we'll see.
Okay, good.
All right.
Thank
Bye,
you so
guys.
much.
Thanks for having me.
Guys,
Bye.
thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.